The Queens of Spice podcast is created for adult audiences only. It contains cursing, vulgar content, dark humor, descriptions of sexual acts and desires, and is not suitable for listeners under the age of 18. Some episodes may also contain subjects that are triggering for listeners. Please take care of yourself.
Welcome to my cave of wonders.
Welcome to the Queens of Spice podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Ragachu, and I'm here with my smutty knight in shining armor, Ash. How are you doing, buddy?
Jesus Christ. Fantastic.
It's a challenge every time. It's a challenge. And I just, I've got to rise to it.
Yep.
So today, I am bringing you a lovely little book called Desperate Measures by our patron saint of spice, Katee Robert. And Desperate Measures is one of her, I think it might be her very first full-length novel traversing the kind of spicy romance realm. And so the version I picked up, I got it at a bookstore in Lunenburg when I was home. It's like a deluxe edition with cool sprayed edges, and it's embossed and shit, and it has full color artwork in it. And then Katee also did annotations. So as you're reading it, there's a bunch of footnotes throughout the entire book of their commenting basically on looking back, was it, I guess 5 or 6 years ago when it came out, and just kind of reflecting on what they wrote. And it's anyways, it's very fascinating because some of it is just it's very sarcastic commentary about their own writing. Oh my God, I forgot I wrote this. This guy is falling so hard for her. It's very cheeky. I love it. And it looks real good on my bookshelf. So I'm very happy with that. Anyway, but this is, so like I said, it's book 1 in the Wicked Villain series. The rest of the series is Learn My Lesson with Hades and Meg, A Worthy Opponent with Tatiana and Hook, The Beast with Garrett and Beast and Beauty, Sea Witch, and The Queen Takes Rose. And I will say, because in typical Katee Robert fashion, there are 5 million novellas and extra content, and dude just writes so much shit, and they have a newsletter and their Patreon, and so tons of content with mini stories and stuff and little vignettes of the characters, and it's really cool once you get up to date with it. And this one subsequently, I feel like I'm gushing right now. I really like this book. At the end of this book, there's 4 little scenes at the end of it basically in the epilogue, so I'll talk about some of those too, and some bonus content. And anyways, it's fun.
You need one of those towels.
I need a better than a sex towel because I'm gushing everywhere. Beautiful.
That's what they're for.
That is exactly what they're for. Okay. Once upon a time, I was a sheltered princess. Not me. Obviously, I'm talking about the book right now because I'm not a princess. Once upon a time, I was a sheltered princess. Now he owns me, body and soul. One night, and my entire life went up in flames. All because of him. Jafar. As my world burned around me, he offered me a choice: walk away with nothing but my freedom, or rise to his challenge and win my fortune back. I bargained. I lost. Now Jafar owns me, and even as my mind rails against him, my body loves the delicious punishments he deals out. It's almost enough to believe he cares, but a gilded cage is still a prison, and I'll do anything to obtain my freedom. Even betray the man who captured my heart. And to start off too, I should list a couple trigger warnings maybe. There is definitely some CNC in here, consensual non-consent, and some dubious consent. This is a power dynamic, and there's not a lot of there's some death and killing and stuff, but not hella dramatic. There's one scene of it near the end, and it's not super descriptive. So apart from that, I think it's a BDSM relationship, power dynamic situation. So just be mindful of that if you're going to read it. So this is obviously, this Wicked Villain series is based off of fairy tales, classic fairy tales. This one, of course, is based off of Aladdin.
I think she got in trouble for these.
Well, and it's interesting because when you read the prologues on these, they talk about historical stories versus the Disney tale stories. So
yeah,
when we're talking about Aladdin, for example, it's the OG story that Disney was based off of. So a lot of those ways, the characters will seem familiar to you, but not that familiar to you.
I know, but I think Disney went after her?
I am unsure. I didn't look that up. It wouldn't surprise me, but like I said, like their characters are from the original fairy tales. I suspect if Disney did go after them, then they might not win those battles.
That could be why she had to put the like thing in the beginning about why it was about.
Oh, why was it about the originals and not like the Disney whatevers?
Yeah. Because like when you look it up, like when I pull it up, it says Katee Robert writes a series of books called Wicked Villains that are contemporary, dark, and mature retellings of Disney villain stories. But that's just like the AI thing that pulls up when you like search something really quick on Google.
So it's crawling like Reddit and stuff too. So it's picking up a commentary of content. Yeah.
So I feel like I remember hearing or reading somewhere that she got like they tried to, because I mean there's no Jasmine isn't copyrighted. You know, the name Jasmine isn't copyrighted, and like you said, the stories are based on original.
And that's a perfect example because the main character in this her name is Yasmina. It's not even Jasmine, because Yasmina was like the original name of the character in the original fairy tales, and they changed it to Jasmine to be more approachable.
All the things, I just find it interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And like, and some of the names too, like I did not know that, and maybe it's not the case, but like Yasmina's father's name is Balthazar, and I'm like, I don't think they just called him the Sultan in Disney. So like anyways, it's so
whitewashed. What?
Well, yeah, right. So take it all with a big grain of salt. Like this is it's loosely based on, if you're familiar with Disney, it's loosely based on the Disney stuff, but like, because that has the same original content. So, or sorry, it has the original origin story. So you'll see it familiar in that way. Plus, I mean, this is a dark retelling. It's not the story. So
one could argue that like the Disney retelling is like a light retelling of the original stories.
Yeah, because like when did that come out? In the 90s too? So like,
yeah,
it's very much of its time. Yeah, and again, like if you were to, because did they do a live action of this one? Of Aladdin?
Yeah, Will Smith did the genie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that is out of my memory. I have seen 0 live action Disney movies. So anyway, please Disney, don't take this down. This is review purposes only. We're not here to criticize or endorse anything you're doing.
And go.
So we intro with Yasmina in bed, and she's kind of like it's nighttime. She's kind of recapping what went on during her day. Her father had basically, like, we're going to use the term here, has basically sold her for a business deal. Well, I mean, like, he married her off basically to solidify some territorial agreements with Ali, and they had a tiff about this, and he like backhanded her. So now she has this like bruise kind of on her cheek, and we get this little, you get the intro of how she's basically a cage bird, despite having like ambitions and drive and stuff, and an interest in actually helping her father grow the business. To him, she's just a piece of meat that gets sold off for trade.
Piece of ass.
It's literally just a piece of ass. I think she uses the term just another pussy or something like that.
Me too.
Yeah, you're just a pussy to me, Ashton. So I'm sorry, that was super mean.
I know my place.
So she's laying here lamenting. She hears the door crack open, and she immediately like, grabs her, like, it's a letter opener she has on her bedside table or something, or on her desk, and she grabs this letter opener and like kind of hides in the shadows and basically like confronts this person as they're walking into her room.
Where's Raja?
Oh my god. Okay, buckle up, Ashton. She confronts this person and like holds the letter opener to their groin because they're a very tall, dark, handsome man named Jafar. And we find out this is her father's right-hand man, has just snuck up into her room, which is like, and from Yasmina's point of view, men are not allowed in her room because she's supposed to be like untainted and perfect, a little princess, so her daddy can sell her off. So like she's very much contained in a lot of ways. Okay, and I will say too, because the first time I read this through, I found it very confusing because there's a lot of context missing. We kind of like jump into the story partway through a lot of interaction that they've had in the last 5 years. So like Jafar has been her father's right-hand man for 5 years. I think he's 35 and she's 25. So he's been watching her basically for 20 years. And they've been like kind of exchanging snipes here and there. And sometimes it goes too far. And so when the jokes go too far and she's like this can't, like, I'm not comfortable having these conversations anymore, she uses their code word, quote unquote, which is Raja. So that's how they get it in there. She doesn't have any pets. It's her fucking...
Her safe word.
Her safe word is Raja. Yeah.
Well, that's disappointing.
It's something.
I wanted her to have a tiger.
Listen, I hear you. I do. And I'm like, and I have to wonder too if, I don't know, I have to wonder if that was a little bit too Disney to have an actual like animal named Raja in the thing. So anyway, I'm not gonna speculate on
I'm
that.
just glad that she's not fucking the tiger. So, I mean, there's that.
I mean,
small mercies.
That's not a Katee Robert vibe.
I love how it's not a Katee Robert vibe when she literally has like fucking married to a
Oh, the dragon.
yeah, Saul. So good try. Definitely a Katee Robert vibe. She would make that work.
Fair enough, Ashton. Good point. I'd retract my statement. I know when I'm wrong. That's fine.
I can admit.
And promptly, like, this is so she uses her code word to him, Raja, and promptly like tells him to fuck all the way off. And then of course this is where we find out they have the history, exchanging barbs, and like how this is like her like, please stop, like we're done with this conversation sort of situation. And he informs her, of course, and this is why he came to her room, that her father is now dead
Because he killed him.
and Jafar is now taking over her father's territory. So what he does is he offers to let her go free. Now we need to frame this because she is 25. She has never even left the compound that she was born in. And so she has no frame of reference for the outside world apart from reading and absorbing media. And even that was very limited because her father like wouldn't let her socialize and wouldn't let her like be chronically online and stuff. And obviously she got around to that in a few ways, but by being sneaky, of course. But there's still like a lot of stuff she's never experienced. So
controlling women. I get it.
wild, eh? So Jafar's offering her basically nothing. And I mean that in a very literal way. No, seriously. Like, he's like, hey, you can go free. You're not getting your trust fund or any of that stuff, but you're welcome to leave. And basically that means walk out with the shirt on your back and have a good day. So
Peace.
that to her, well, and she's been in this gilded cage for so long, and it's like, it's such not an option where she is right now.
Yeah.
And I want to like earmark this too, because this is like where we're at right now with Yasmina as a person. She would never even consider this right now because she doesn't, like I said, she has no frame of reference. She has no enthusiasm. Like, she has the enthusiasm to be free, but she cannot possibly see what the steps that need to be taken in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
So very much like Stockholm syndrome of the like, no, you're going to live in this cage forever. You need to resolve yourself to do that. So the other thing he offers her, so it's the freedom without her trust fund, whatever.
Is his dick.
Well, you're not wrong, but
Oh, how predictable.
I mean, it's a Katee Robert book.
Fair.
So the deal is, if she can escape the house, like the compound, without him catching her, he'll let her go with her trust fund. And if she loses, then he owns her body and soul.
Please tell me this gets primal.
Ashton, do you remember what one of my favorite Katee Robert trigger warnings is on planet Earth? Is if you sexy run, I'll sexy chase you.
Yes.
I was so pleased to add this to my trope list on this one because I fucking love it. So obviously she runs. She doesn't make it, of course. And so obviously he pins her to the fucking ground and rails the shit out of her after some, like an exchange and some, very alluring kind of feral shit. Technically, and this is why I love Katee too. This is technically he's taking her virginity.
Technically
In the very technical sense of like, she's never had penetrative sex with a man before virginity, versus like she's definitely has some sex toys and knows how to use them.
Okay.
So like, it's not the physical thing. It's the
virginity is a social construct.
And in the footnotes, Katee calls that out. She's like, you know how I feel about virginity. So
you know how I feel about virginity.
She has strong opinions about it. Okay, and this is another one. This is why I love Katee's writing so much. So, and again, this is the CNC kind of situation going on here where he has her pinned to the ground. She's saying out loud, I don't want this. And then in italics beside what she says, it says, I might want this. So it's her thought, like it's her thought and her feelings kind of combating each other, which happens a shit ton in this book. So keep that in mind. So anytime she's like, I'm not into this, or she's like being a brat or any of that stuff, it's like she's very much into it.
So they address the consensual non-consent component of it.
Yes, absolutely. And like very early on. So like Katee is definitely setting up the tone super early for how this is going to go. So when I like pick vignettes out of the book to talk about, if they're not in that context, you're going to like think a different way about them. So it's really great that we establish this early on. So of course, in the back of her head, because we have to set this up too, Yasmina has an inkling that the only reason Jafar has done this is because he needs to claim her in order for the rest of, like, for her father's men basically to respect him or to understand that the takeover is complete, sort of thing, of his territory. So
this is a power play.
it's definitely a power play. And so in the back of her head, she's like, the only reason he did this is for a power play. It's for optics. He actually doesn't like me or care for me, or it's literally up for optics. Yeah. So
enter miscommunication.
Okay. And this is like kind of my favorite because it's miscommunication kind of.
Yeah.
And especially right now in the book, it's like you don't have a lot of the background that I'm going to tell you about, and you can't make some assumptions about like, wait, do they actually have like quite a history and all this stuff? So like a lot of that stuff gets fleshed out much further into the book when other topics comes up. So right now though, it does seem very cold and calculated, but like, yeah, he's lusting after her and he wants her, but not like that. Anyway, so he parades her in front of his little minions as a show of power. And he makes it very clear who she belongs to, because one of his men is like, oh man, like share the spoils of war sort of situation. And he immediately is like, I will chop off your fucking arms if you touch this girl. And so it's, touch her and die. Touch her and die is real Ashton in this one. So then he leaves the compound and takes her to Carver City, which is like the major city we're in. This is the first time she's left the complex in a number of years. And I actually don't think she's ever left the complex, honestly. It doesn't come up in the book. And I will say too, her mother has since passed a number of years ago at this point. And of course, she was killed by her father.
Oh, yes.
Like, nobody talks about it, but like, let's be fair. She was fine and healthy, and all of a sudden she dies of a heart attack. It's like, okay, sure. Also in typical Katee Robert fashion, which I'm realizing comes up in almost every book, Yasmina mentions that she has an IUD. Or sorry, Jafar asks her, and she mentions that she has an IUD, and she actually bribed the family doctor to give her one. Her point was that just because I'm being controlled doesn't mean I can't have control myself.
Yeah.
You know, she kind of knew she was going to get married off, and she's like, yeah, but I'm still going to control when and if I have kids. So
I want control over my body. Shocking.
What a concept. This is where we get this inkling that Ali is not a good dude. And like, let's be fair. This is very much one of those, like, there's no good dudes in here. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a darker romance book. So like, no one's good, but there's definitely the better of the worst, sort of. Like, it's a race to the bottom of who's the worst. Ali, like the way that he handles women specifically is he's very not nice to women. And so
the way he handles them is that he's a dick.
Is that he's an asshole. Anyway, not good. So basically Jafar is claiming that like he just saved Yasmina from this deal because like Ali would have destroyed her, sort of thing.
Her pussy.
Yeah, he would destroy that pussy. So, and of course Yasmina looks at this as like she is trading one gilded cage for another, because now she's under Jafar's kind of rule, and just because he takes her to like his condo or his building or whatever downtown Carver City.
Welcome to my cave of wonders.
Well, there's the clip for the beginning of the episode.
Or is it her cave of wonders?
Amazing.
You're like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
No, I love it. Perfect reference, no notes. You're hilarious, Ashton. Please laugh at your own jokes.
Sorry.
So, and of course, so she's comparing Ellie to Jafar because, like, to her, and she doesn't have that much context of, like, she's met Ellie, I think, 0 times at this point. So, like, she knows who he is and what he looks like and stuff, but she's never actually met him.
Yeah.
And of course, so she's making the comparison of the two, be like, cool, like, it's like, pick a cage at this point. My father's cage, Jafar's cage, or Ellie's cage. One of them is a cage. So regardless of what happens, it's all kind of the same to her.
Where do I have more control?
Yeah, seriously. We get this. Anyway, this is Jafar in a nutshell. He shows her to her bedroom because she has her own separate room because she's like, I'm not sleeping with you. And he's like, yeah, you're not, of course. You have to earn that. So
For fuck's
we love
sakes.
it, Daddy Dom. Oh,
It's not even
spoon.
daddy dom. That's just dick.
Yeah, it is. So, and of course, she makes the quip like, "What do you have against color?" Because everything is monochromatic in his entire home.
Of course it
And
is.
his comment, well, and his comment about color is that it's messy. It's like, okay, you fucking nerd. Anyway,
You fucking
so
nerd.
he has to go out and do some business or whatever. So immediately we're getting into this power play situation where he's like, when I come back, I want you beside the front door, kneeling and naked and ready for me.
Oh my god, you didn't read Sierra. Oh no, you did. You read Sierra Simone, the new Camelot, but you only read the first one.
Oh yes. American Queen, American Prince, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I read the first one. Yeah, I didn't read. I have the second one sitting on my physical TBR. I need to read
Yeah,
it.
this is like that vibe.
Uh-huh. And of course, she doesn't want to do that. So she ends up like kind of looking around his house anyway. So he leaves and she's like snooping, as one does. And she talks about how like he's so fucking boring, and of course there's nothing to find, except she finally comes across his office. And so when she finds his office, she tries the computer, of course, and tries to like unlock the password. And so when she tries to unlock the password, it's like a a false entry or whatever, and it starts recording about whoever's trying to unlock the computer. And she is she savvy?
Naughty.
Well, and she's pretty savvy when it comes to computers, so she's like, "Oh, interesting. Well, now I better just like be a little fucking brat about this." And she starts
for fuck's
masturbating in front of the
sakes.
camera. And of course, he calls her on the phone to tell her to stop, and of course, she doesn't.
I love how she's like, I will not do the thing you asked me to do, but I'm gonna do this instead. Neener. Fucking brat energy.
Listen, Ash, what you need to know about Yasmina is she's a fucking brat.
I picked up on that.
Yes. And so what you will notice going forward is that the only times when she is very submissive to Jafar specifically
Yeah.
is two instances: when she wants to be or when she is incredibly overwhelmed. And it's a grounding measure. And so that is very important, especially early on in the book.
Like a
It's very
control
important to
thing.
remember that. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. So because as I mentioned, she's like the world is new to her. And I think, oh my God, I think they actually use the phrase "a whole new world" somewhere. Anyway.
Yeah, they do. I think if they don't, then they've missed.
Yeah, missed opportunities. So obviously, like, she's being a fucking brat. And she does have a moment where she reflects about, like, how can I escape with no money and no job and no friends? Because again, like, she's very isolated, doesn't know a single person.
Yeah.
Her father made sure of that throughout her entire life. So she has this reflection of like, okay, if I try to escape, what would happen? Just like doesn't get very far with that. And this is something that's going to come back up again and again throughout the book about like, how can I escape? How can I make this happen? And so like, I think Katie's really like picking away at the confidence situation here, where it's like, you're going to see Yasmina grow as a character in that way of like, the further we get into the book, the more confident she is and like, no, I can escape. Let's figure this out.
But do I want to?
But do I want to? Dead ass Ashton. Thank you for catching that. So she falls asleep.
Like I've never read one of these books before.
Listen, it's a very Katee Robert book, and I'm kind of excited about that. So I knew exactly.
This is also new to me. I don't understand.
Tee hee.
Tee-hee.
Please slap me harder, Daddy. Okay. So she falls asleep, and obviously, so she's not kneeling naked at the door when Jafar gets home. So he kicks her door in, as one does.
As one does.
As one Jafar does.
Because it's not incredibly triggering.
She's of course like scared but turned on, as one is, and because he's like a big presence.
There's a fucking trope.
Scared but turned on. Yeah, listen, I mean, I think that's kind of the point of a lot of those power dynamics is you're kind of scared but you're really turned on about it. And of course she's like, oh my God, is he gonna like have sex with me again? And immediately he's like, disobedience will not be rewarded. When like that first kind of power struggle they had is not being reflected anymore. Where he's like, no, you're under my thumb now, and if you're not a good girl, I'm not gonna reward you as such.
You're under my thumb.
Right. So she's struggling with her desire for freedom and the desire that she has for Jafar. And so she ends up safe wording him with Raja before anything escalates here and he punishes her, any of that stuff. So at the same time, when she goes back to sleep or whatever, she's going back to sleep with instant regret. about like, oh, I shouldn't have stopped him. Like again, the like her desire for freedom. If she says her word, that's a level of freedom versus the like, oh, but I desire him so much and I want him to do those things. And so you get this like very instant repercussion of that. If she's like, fuck, like maybe I want to stay, maybe I want to have his hands on me, that kind of thing. So
should I stay or should I go now?
and so as you can imagine, she was like taken from her home or whatever with nothing. And so when she's poking around getting ready for the morning, Jafar had stocked her bathroom and the kitchen and all this stuff with all of her favorite things. So all of her makeup is there, all the brands she uses. Her favorite coffee cream is in the fridge.
I was going to say all the things that make her pretty.
and coffee cream.
And coffee cream.
So basically you get this inkling that like he planned this from the get-go. Like this has been not a recent development. And so later... Like this is a thing.
Why are all these clothes in my size?
Well, actually, so to that point, there are no clothes in her size because he has none of her clothes. However, this is where we get a scene with a new character called Tink. She is a stylist. Obviously, Yasmina is kind of craving information. And Tink is very abrupt and short with her and is like, listen, I'm not going to do anything to compromise the contract that I have here. So, like, don't even like, I'm not going to answer any of those crazy questions or help you escape or any of this shit, just so we're clear. And she's very upfront about that. And this is where we find out about the place called the Underworld, which is neutral territory.
Neutral territory?
Yeah, it's neutral territory. So, like, Carver City's carved up, lack of a better term, in a bunch of different districts and areas. And so Balthazar, her father, owned like a big chunk of territory and was operating within that territory. And Jafar now owns that territory. And so we're going to meet a couple other people that are involved in the other territories at some point. But basically the Underworld is like, what's that place in John Wick? The hotel or whatever?
I haven't watched the John Wick movies.
Really? I don't, you know what? I'm not a big on action movies, but those ones are fun and entertainment.
Okay, but like the dog.
Yeah, you know what, Ash?
I watched that and I was like, no.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. I apologize for bringing that up.
You're forgiven.
It's basically the hotel in John Wick, where it's neutral territory for like whatever is going on. And so shit's not allowed to go down there and people have to follow the rules. Yeah. And the rules are, of course, enacted by Hades.
Oh, Hades controls the underworld. Oh, shocking.
Okay, of course. How far are you into Dark Olympus? Like, have you caught up to any of like the recent stuff?
I haven't read the one. I haven't read the one with Orpheus where they make him the puppy or whatever. You were like freaking out about it. I haven't read that one.
I think that's probably 2 books back from where we're at. But anyway, so the Hades here, not the same Hades as Dark Olympus, but maybe connected to the Dark Olympus series. Well, this was written before the Dark Olympus series, so there's no direct tie-in right now, but like further into the books, I think it gets more tied in. And, needs to be brought up now, Tink mentions to her about people making deals with Hades. And so again, we're bringing the deal situation into here about like giving people options. When Jafar returns, he finds Yasmina in the pool on the 2nd level. There's like
Return of Jafar?
Yeah, Return Jafar. There's like I'm gonna say that the floor below the penthouse is like an enrichment center basically.
Was she a fucking hamster?
Dead ass Ash. Well, I mean that's kind of the vibe here, right? Like she's a trapped animal in a cage. So there's like a pool and there's like a theater, like she can watch movies and stuff and whatever. So like there's entertainment basically, and so she's in the pool.
Jesus.
And he's standing there watching her, of course, and he's reflecting on the last 5 years, about getting close to Balthazar, and about taking over, and about how like he was always trading snipes with Yasmina, and he was always watching over her and making sure she was safe and stuff like this. So we do get this inkling that like Jafar has been thinking about her for a long time. And has been interested in her for a long time. So this is not like a new kind of development that's going on here. And of course, as the reader, you're like, oh, this shit was planned. He intentionally did these things. She's not just a power grab per se. So you're starting to get this inkling of like what's going on in Jafar's head. And of course, oh my God, this is the first time we get this like a super bratty kind of situation again, where she says, "You're so bossy, I should call you daddy." And he looks her straight in the eye and says, you should. So, of course, we have Daddy Jafar now. So this evening they're going to the underworld, and so Tink had picked out a bunch of dresses for Yasmina to wear, and so she's wearing this like fucking red ass dress that is very much a stunning thing when she walks into the underworld. And so they take a town car basically to the underworld because Jafar doesn't, he has a driver, obviously. They have a couple interesting conversations, one of which is when she straight up asks him, "Did you kill my father?" Because I think the phrasing he originally used was, "Your father is gone." He didn't say, "I killed him" or something. So he was kind of like lessening the blow there. But now she's pointed to like, "Did you kill him?" And he's like, "Yes, I killed your father."
No.
And so she has a moment. Yeah, you're welcome.
He choked
but then
on
she has
pork roast.
Anyway, so, and she has this moment of, and like, this is a little too real. She has this moment of not feeling a way about that. It's one of those, like, it's a trauma response of like, man, this horrible thing happened my entire life and this person was really not great and now they're gone. And you're like, I feel like I should feel bad about this, right? And she just does not feel bad about this. And I'm like, that's too fucking real. That's way too real. But at the same time, she's also like, I feel bad about not feeling bad, and I want to replace that feeling bad of not feeling bad with something else. And so she begs Jafar to lick her pussy, of course, and he makes her come because she asked so nicely.
Of course.
And then, so they have this little preamble before they go into the underworld where he's like, "This is my only rule, is that you have to keep your head down and don't speak unless I tell you to." And this is also a measure, and this is not a thing that overtly happens. Like, it's not said out loud. It's said through actions, and that Jafar knows how overwhelming and how intense this is going to be for her. So this is almost a security measure to keep her controlled, basically, so she's not kind of spiraling when she's in here.
I'm doing this for you.
Well, yeah, kind of. That's kind of the vibe. He, of course, knows her drink order, even though she's technically has never been allowed to drink. She did smuggle, I think it was bourbon. She smuggles bourbon sometimes, and so he knew to order her bourbon. He also doesn't let her drink very much because he knows she hasn't eaten anything. And so she like takes one drink of her bourbon and he puts it down and he's like, "That's enough for now.
You may have one sip."
And I think, I'm pretty sure in his dialogue, he's like, "You can have a sip to take the edge off," because like she's obviously very anxious about being here. But then like no more after that because he doesn't want her drunk and like, not in her faculties.
Because drunk people can't consent.
Correct. So Meg rolls up, and Meg is the kind of right hand to Hades. Mm-hmm. So she is very much involved in this, in the underworld, where she has a lot of sway. She's involved in a lot of things. She knows all the people. Mm-hmm. And so she rolls up, of course, and immediately takes a look at Yasmina. And she's just like, "Jafar, like, this woman is exquisite. Like, you have to share her with me, of course." And Yasmina, who is totally fucking into that in theory, and Jafar is like watching her very closely to see how she reacts to this, and is like, "Oh, like, baby girl's into this."
Jesus.
But then, of course,
baby girl want this.
Baby girl want this. Why did they get so hillbilly all of a sudden?
I don't really know.
Baby girl, you want this?
Well, every time I hear baby girl now, I think of that like fucking two-turn Tony and his baby girl the duck.
What are you on about?
There's a guy, he's an influencer, and he has an OnlyFans, and he goes by two-turn Tony, and he has a duck that he takes everywhere. He goes around in a pair of shorts, and his duck's name is Baby Girl.
Okay. That's a vignette of pop culture I did not know about.
He and his family do like ridiculous things. Like he pays his dad to do like stupid ass shit.
Oh, it's like CKY again.
Only the guy makes his money
with a duck.
With his dick.
He calls it
dick money. No, his dick money. And then he has like his own fucking brand of alcohol and everything. But he calls his duck Baby Girl. That might have been why I went a little redneck on my baby girl. Because he lives in Florida.
Florida man has duck named Baby Girl.
Yeah. And he fishes sharks.
What the fuck, dude? This is a fever dream you're describing.
There's literally a video of him on an air mattress trying to get one on with a girl, and the air mattress starts losing fucking air, and he's in water that, like, legit, you get, like, he's just, people dropped off fucking turtles on his doorstep, and he gave them to his parents. Like,
what the fuck, man?
Yeah, like, honestly, I'm surprised you haven't had this exposure yet.
Wild. I'm
Tony.
fascinated by this.
Yeah, and then his brother goes by Too Dirty Dom.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thanks.
Baby girl.
I'm gonna take a breath. Baby girl.
Baby
okay,
girl.
well, that's going to come up a lot. Now that's all I'm going to think about. Girl.
Girl.
Okay, so then they meet with Hades.
Yes.
And Jafar makes this note about the only reason that Yasmina is actually following what he's doing and not fighting it back right now is because she's so overwhelmed. And he notices, of course, that he's grounding her, and that's kind of like the idea here behind it. So he's kind of like the guiding force right now of keeping her chill. So Hades, of course, throws around some subtle threats because Jafar had just taken over this, basically formed a coup against Balthazar, and he's kind of like, don't get too big in your britches sort of thing, like just because you're ambitious. Well, just because you're ambitious here, like don't try to extend your reach any further because like there will be kickback. And like I said, Hades, this is from a place of almost not concern, but like a kind of friendly caution because he's like, everyone's watching basically, and just reminding Jafar that like you're on center stage right now and everyone has their eyes on you, so like don't fuck up.
And don't fuck it up.
Of course, he's like upset, like low-key obsessed with Yasmina because she is a gorgeous woman. And he, of course, wants to like, you better be sharing this kind of piece of ass.
You best be sharing this.
Hades is very well spoken. I'm making him into a hillbilly.
I like your mouth. You got real pretty mouth.
You got a pretty mouth, baby girl.
Pretty mouth there.
Okay, and we get this. This is the first time we get this kind of inkling that, like in the back of Jafar's head, he's thinking about how there are some people in Carver City who are beholden to bloodlines. And so you kind of, this comes back to Yasmina's initial insecurity about like, oh, he only wants me because of my name and just a power play sort of thing. So Jafar has that inkling as well. And so like this is a beneficial thing to him too, of like if he claims Yasmina, then like he's probably going to get the buy-in of a lot of people because he's like, well, like the bloodline is still involved in the business basically. And so a lot of people hold value to that here.
They only want me because of my bitch.
Yeah, basically. And we get this, there's a little, I really like this part because we're in a sex club. There's obviously a lot of stuff going on.
You never said there was a sex club.
Oh, I'm sorry. The underworld is a sex club.
You just said, okay.
I guess, yeah. I was equating it to the hotel. Good point. I didn't bring that up. So the underworld, let's backtrack. The underworld's a sex club.
Okay.
There's a lot of sexy shit going on here. Hades he's head sex club guy.
He's like head of the sex club.
Yeah, he's head of the sex club. And Meg, of course, is like second in command, 2IC of the sex club. So, and obviously, like, Jafar's like Mr. Dom here, and Yasmina is very much submissive to that. Kind of naturally, but also situationally, as I mentioned, because of the whelm. We get this little reflection from Jafar at this point. And this is why I really love Katie's writing for a lot of these reasons. But he's talking specifically about how care and control reflects back on Jafar himself because he's responsible for her as a Dom. It's that inkling where I kind of like, I hate the kind of traditional mentality, modern dating or relationships or whatever, where it's like, I'm the man of the house and I'm responsible for all you people. But this is like the flip on it where it's like, you're under my care and control, which means I'm very much responsible for you and your well-being. And so I'm like, that to me, like that inkling is very attractive. The other one, not so much, but this is where it's like, I am taking control of you and I am responsible for your well-being and caring for you.
Gee, wonder why you like this so much.
There's very much like we're getting a lot of that power exchange in here too. And like, yeah, anyways, it's really interesting. I love when Katie writes these kind of like Dom characters. And I'm like, thank you for recognizing that. So they're lounging in the playroom where there's like some shit going on. Some people are getting spanked and enjoying that a lot. And this is where and this is another part of like kind of, I think a big element of like the kink community in general, or like people's foray into like the kink lifestyle, is this idea of shouldn't. Katie brings up in this one, there's this, like Yasmina is going through this thing where she's been programmed away to think away, which I think, and this is very reflective of most of society, I'll say. We're all programmed to think away. We're all programmed to like, this is, you have one partner, you settle down with them, you have kids, etc. Like that whole like traditional values bullshit thing.
Yeah.
And so kink is entering with this idea of shouldn't. When you think about, I really desire this thing, you always have that voice in the back of your head of like, yeah, but I shouldn't want to desire this thing. So it becomes the taboo. And so Yasmina's having this moment of like watching people and seeing what's going on in this club and trying to overcome that shouldn't mentality in her head. Like, she shouldn't want to be involved in that spanking. She shouldn't want to feel that desire. She shouldn't do you know what I mean? Like, she shouldn't want to feel this way. She shouldn't want to be involved in all these kind of like the debauchery, as it were.
The debauchery.
Well, and I think that's a big thing of people trying to find themselves, I think, as adults too. It's like, hey, I shouldn't want to be in a poly relationship. I shouldn't want to try out these kinky things. I shouldn't want to, like, I shouldn't desire these things. So I'm going to shut it down and not do those. And it's like, okay, but what if you did want to do those things? And it's very much like the self-expression kind of thing. And like, again, that's been like beaten into people as young folks about like, you should want to have kids and settle down with somebody and live the life and all that. And it's like, So we just get that little reflection here. And I'm projecting, but that's fine.
I was like, I'm just going to let her go because this means more to her than it does to me.
Anyway, so then he fingers her in front of this guy named Hook. Hook is another dude that owns a bunch of territory. Like, he's one of the leaders. And he is in the third book, I think. Third or fourth book. I can't remember. And of course, like, Hook is sitting here watching these two and having a conversation. And this is where you get, like, the total Dom thing of, like, Jafar is keeping a straight face and having a conversation while, like, several fingers deep in Yasmina. And he's just, like, not affected by this at all, basically. And Hook is just like losing his composure anyway. And so Yasmina is also listening to the conversation. And so they have after Hook gets up and leaves, Jafar and Yasmina have this conversation about like, what do you think was going through Hook's mind? And because like Hook is very she picks up that he's very apprehensive about this takeover, and he's trying to like kind of firm up his friendship with Jafar, basically, to like get a lay of the land and stuff. So, but like nervous is the takeaway here. We get this scene where Yasmina is reflecting on the things she's seeing and the shouldn't and all that stuff. And we get this inkling that like all of her experience with sex and like debauchery, etc., is from reading.
Oh, of course, there's one of those scenes.
Well, it's all very theoretical in her mind, and not just the sex stuff, but even like the running away and the like living a life and all this stuff. It's like it's ingrained in this kind of fictitious world that she's grown up reading about. But it's a matter of like not having the courage to do any of those things. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important to keep in mind here, because again, like, we're kind of building Yasmina's confidence as we go through this book. And as Jafar introduces her to more stuff, she gets more confident, and it's like a definite character evolution that we see every so often. We have another scene of if you sexy run, I'll sexy chase you, because baby girl's into that, and they go off and get their own private room and stuff, and they're just like doing some sexy things because she's been a really good girl all night, and so he's gonna reward her. Jafar has this moment where he's like, this is not quite right, and he's like, stay here, and he leaves. And a couple minutes later, he sends Tink in to basically dress Yasmina as a schoolgirl.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
And so Tink escorts her to another playroom that is an office. Yasmina kind of has a moment where she's like, it looks very similar to her father's office. Not like identical, but like it's got the big bookshelves in the window and whatever. So like we're playing out this fantasy of having disappointed her father sort of thing, and like you're gonna get punished, baby girl.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
But like it's obviously like, because again, Jafar was the right hand man, and so he was always present in those rooms anyway, and so it is obviously him. We're not replacing the daddy situation, but it's very much like, oh, you've been bad, let's spank you. And so they do the hanky panky thing. And I also will say, immediately after he comes on her tits, because obviously because
that's obviously where this was gonna go.
That is that's the logical conclusion of when this happens.
Yes, clearly.
I think clearly. So
yeah,
after he comes all over her tits, they have their first kiss. And I will say, this is on page 134 of the book. It's like
their first
270 page book or something. So like it's almost halfway through. And it's very funny because Katee has an annotation about it too. But like, I just want to point out, this is their first kiss. It's like, Jesus Christ. Okay. Then because they did this scene so well and she followed orders and stuff, he rewards her with like, how would you like me to fuck you, basically. And he noticed throughout the evening that she was very much into the exhibitionism of all this, where like she could watch people through windows and see what people are doing and like absorbing that information. And so he's picking up that she likes to be watched as well. And so there's in these playrooms, there's tinted windows that you can adjust the tint on. And so as she's riding him on one of the office chairs, he turns the transparency of the window down and people are watching her fuck him. And it's also like, it's very claiming, and it's very like, for her, it's very like confidence boosting and like incredible. Like she's super fucking into it, but it's also plays a role in that like people can see who she belongs to. And so, because like I said, neutral territory, but like this is where everyone hangs out and business gets done sometimes.
Sometimes they do business. Most of the time they just fuck.
Sometimes they get down to business. So so she kind of like, he does the aftercare situation where he gets her settled into like a private room with a bed and stuff, and you can stay over here. Like, it's anyway, the place is crazy.
Rachel's like salivating.
Oh, it sounds pretty rad, honestly. So she's resting and just chilling in a private room and just like kind of curled up, like basking, when Ali sneaks into the room.
Prince Ali, sketchy is he?
Ali Ababwa. So this is the first time we meet Ali.
Oh.
And he's like like this is the first time Yasmina meets him too. And so she knows who he is, and he immediately comes in and is like, I'm going to free you. I'm going to like get you out from under Jafar's rule and all this stuff. And he's like, you belong to me, whatever. And he kisses Yasmina, like unconsensually kisses her. And she has like a fucking like, and then he gets out of here. And she's like, no, like you need to leave. Like, what are you doing? Like Jafar's going to kill you, blah, blah, blah. And Ali takes that as like, oh my God, like you need to be saved. I can't do it right now. Okay. Like we'll come back. We'll do a plan or whatever. And she's just like, get the fuck out of here, you creep. What are you doing? Keep your hands off me. And so like you get that miscommunication again where like Ali's like, oh my God, like you need saving. And she's like, oh my God, do I ever fucking not need saving from you? Jesus Christ. When Jafar comes back into, like, Ali leaves, Jafar comes back into the room and she's like throwing her guts up from anxiety and like stress. And he's like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, did I hurt you, baby girl? Like, are you okay? What is going on? Did we go too far? Like, I'm so sorry I left you alone.
Baby girl.
And then she tells him about Ali. What do you think Jafar does immediately? Is like lose his fucking shit. In a very calm and measured manner, but like in his head, he's losing his fucking shit. And there's also this comment about like, and this is where I get thrown around for the first time. Jafar makes a mention of like, yeah, well, of course, Ellie is trying to get you back because whoever is married to you is going to have a lot of sway over the territory. And she's immediately like, what the fuck? I'm not marrying anyone. She's like, is that what you planned for me, sort of thing? Like, you want to marry me? Like, I'm not doing that. And so like we throw this wrench of the marriage in there too at one point. It's just like, Jesus Christ, please stop. So keep that in mind as well. So Jafar freaks out, obviously, super protective. He even at this point...
Protective, possessive.
Same thing. However, to your point though, he, at this point, if he's freaking out so much that he's like, listen, like if you don't feel safe, if you don't think I can protect you, because he's like doubting himself now, he's like, I will release your trust fund and we can like get you out of the city and like we can help, like we'll hide you from Ali and all this other stuff. And so like he is freaking the fuck out. And it gets to the point where it's like almost sentimental to him, where like he wants her to choose him. He doesn't want to force himself and his will on her. Like he wants to give her freedom, but he needs to control the situation first. Yeah, so you get this, and he doesn't say that out loud, of course, because it's in the back of his head.
Because he's a man.
Well, and of course, like in his typical sentimental Dom fashion, he says the phrase in his head, she's mine to conquer, but she's also mine to protect. Mm-hmm. So we get this kind of meeting of minds, as it were, of his two sides of his personality, where he is like low-key gone for this girl and obsessed with her, but he also needs to maintain control. Where she's on the other side of that, and she's like, I like this guy a lot. I'm very submissive to him, but I need my freedom. So like we have these two kind of strong personalities fighting against each other. So obviously they go talk to Hades, because what the fuck? They tell him about how Ali entered their private room without their like knowledge, and how he accosted Yasmina. Hades, they have, okay, it's going to sound real weird. There's cameras.
It's going to sound real weird.
Well, there's cameras in the building, and you get monitored. You're basically on a probationary period when you first join. So Yasmina is officially a member of the underworld, and you get monitored for the first 3 months that you're there in case you do anything super sketchy.
Like monitor people.
like monitor people. So you're basically on probationary. And so like they were monitoring Yasmina and they saw Ali enter the room and saw what they did to her. And so like it's on record, and Hades immediately revokes Ali's membership. And he's not super pleased about it because like Ali like snuck his way in here because he's a sneaky fucker.
Oh, sneaky fucker.
Ooh, sneaky. So they take Jafar. So Jafar.
You said it like King Julian.
So Jafar takes her back home, asks if he can take care of her.
Oh, now he wants consent.
Well, he's feeling away. He's feeling ungrounded. Like this has really shaken him up a lot. And he just needs to protect her right now and like keep her close. She has this moment where she's reflecting on how unequal the situation is as they're like laying in bed cuddling. Despite how much she likes this particular gilded cage with Jafar, she is consciously making her own decision that she doesn't want to be in it. And so she's having this internal struggle of like distancing herself from the emotions she's feeling versus what she needs to do as a human being. And so like, again, she's very comfortable. She's very pleased with how things are going with Jafar, but she cannot be under anyone's thumb anymore. That's just not how her life is going to go. So she goes off to her own room, whatever, and they keep a bit of distance. And Jafar said he's going to be away for a couple of days because he has to go hunt down Ali.
I have to go murder his ass.
Well, I mean, so we get this thought in the back of her head that she says, I forgot how to fight and win with Jafar, because she's really good at fighting, but she's fighting in the frame of being a brat, basically, not fighting out loud and in her own person to win her freedom, for example. So the next day she wakes up to like there's a phone sitting on her bedside table, and there's a message from like a handwritten message from Jafar to call him when she wakes up. So she does, and immediately he's like talking her through an orgasm, of course, in the middle of the morning. And we get some more insight to how they've wanted each other so bad in the last 5 years, and how she's really craved him and wanted his hands all over her. And he cites a couple like, oh yeah, that time you were in the hallway at your birthday party and you dropped something and specifically bent over directly in front of me knowing I would see you, like just teasing him and stuff like this. So
when you were 12?
No, I think she was 21. I will say, God love Katee. She aged them up to a point. I'm like, thank you. So I really appreciate that. There was no underage bullshit going on here. So on Monday, Tink rolls up again with some more clothes because Yasmina was a good girl all weekend and didn't do anything terrible. So Daddy rewarded her with some more clothes.
Oh, dear
So
God. Thanks, Daddy.
When you talk like that, it reminds me of that little book we read for Jack's birthday that year. Oh my God, thank you, Daddy.
Thank you, Daddy.
Just
Aww.
The worst.
Aw, Daddy.
Please stop.
I will never.
When you do it like that, it makes me uncomfy. I don't like it.
Yeah, welcome to my life.
It was sexy and now it's not.
It's never sexy.
So Tink rolls up with more clothes, and Meg is with her. Meg, if you remember, is Hades' right hand.
Yeah.
And Meg offers Yasmina a deal to escape Jafar. Mutually beneficial, because if she is away from Jafar, his coup is a little bit more unstable, because he's lost the optics of having her under his thumb and being able to control like the bloodline situation we come back to. And so it's like a destabilizing element here where it's like, okay, if we take Yasmina out of the equation, then everything kind of falls apart or starts to fall apart, and it's more unstable. And then it keeps Jafar in his place, where he has to work much harder to keep control of his territory. So Meg leaves, and so she's having kind of a frank conversation with Tink, and Tink warns her that only ever take a deal if you can live with the consequences of it. And we're kind of getting insight into who Tink is here too, because obviously Tink has made a deal with Hades at some point, and so she herself is kind of under his thumb to a degree, and she specifically says that this deal stinks. You know, we've kind of glossed over who Tink is as a character, but for her to say something like that is very profound, because Tink has made it from the get-go that she will never cross those lines, and she will never tell you information that you aren't privy to and stuff. So like when she says this deal stinks, like the second time I'm reading this through, I'm like, oh God, that was such a fucking foreshadowing situation. And Yasmina, her thought about this was, I started thinking that it's not so bad in this beautiful cage as long as Jafar is with me. But at the same time, there's no equality here. It's all about power. And so we come back to this again, like this gilded cage is so nice to be in because he's here with me, but I need my freedom. And there's no equity in any of this. So Jafar returns at night. He's very stressed out. He still can't find Ellie. We get this conversation about where he's being very honest, telling her why Ellie is in the wind at all. And initially, Jafar had planned to kind of like take the entire territory out of the knees, including all of their allies, and Ellie would have been part of that. But he had to adjust his timeline because Balthazar had sold Yasmina to Ali, basically.
Oh, and he wanted to protect her.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
And we get this, and this is where we also get this, like, he's thinking about how he won't keep her caged forever because that's what weak men do. But at the same time, and comes back to the miscommunication thing again, too, where it's like he's trying to keep control of the situation and not telling her these things. Like, this is going on in the back of his head. He does tell her about the adjusted timeline. Mm-hmm. So she does have this inkling of like, oh my God, like, not like this is my fault, but like, you actually did all this and it's such a fucking shit show because you were protecting me, which like no one has ever done before in her life, as you can imagine.
Yes, as I can imagine.
He also asks her about college at this point because he's like, and I think this is him trying to struggle against the like, I won't keep her caged thing without saying I won't keep you caged. So he's like, what's your interest in college, whatever. And they kind of get off into a fight about some things because she's like, why would I ever think of college? I was always meant to be married off to someone. I was never going to have a future. And so she has a big chip on her shoulder about that too, which of course, like, why wouldn't you? Like, you've basically mourning a future you're never going to have.
Way to rub it in, dick.
And in the back of his head, oh my God, Jafar. In the back of his head, he's getting this like, I want her to choose me situation.
Of course.
So, well, of course, because that's like, he's so sentimental and he's got it so fucking bad for her that he's like, at the end of the day, he wants her to choose him.
Pick me. Choose me. You're not going to understand that reference.
Nope, don't think so. They have dinner that evening, and obviously he got her favorite meal.
Yeah.
From the favoriteest place she's ever ordered from, which is, it's like a paella of some sort. Anyway, he circles back to the school situation because he wants to like actually ask her candidly about it. Mm-hmm. And this is where she's like, yeah, I mean, initially I wanted to be a software engineer to help out with the business stuff, and my father really shot that down because he doesn't want me involved. He never wanted me involved in any of the business stuff. Just talking about like bringing the business more into like digital age because they do like money laundering and shit. So she was talking about like crypto and all this shit and just like, anyway.
Oh God.
It's whatever. Business, numbers.
It's business. It's business time.
She has the phrase, no one's ever looked past my pussy to see my usefulness.
Hard same.
Ash, I just like you for your pussy. I'm so sorry.
I know.
So Jafar's thing has always been, like in the last 5 years, it's always been about freeing her and giving her what she needs. To flip that around, what is it that he needs? He needs her. And so you get this inkling that he's doing a lot of this stuff simply to have Yasmina. But he's also struggling with this, like, but she needs to choose me sort of thing. So he's trying to, like, in the back of his head, trying to set this up so, like, she does choose him. Anyway, It's a whole thing.
Man decisions.
Later that evening, he invites Meg over to play with them. And we have some very hot, sexy times that I think that's probably what I'm going to read. We get this inkling of like, and Yasmin is super into this. Like, she's playing with both of them basically. And we get this inkling of, she says, I wish I could be content in this place that he's put me. So again, she's like super into this, like the sexy times and the connections and all this stuff. But again, in the back of her head, she's still like, fuck, like I need to think about this deal that because Meg gave her like, I think 7 days or something to decide if she was going to take it. And so like having Meg there in front of her, it's really like, it's such a dichotomy right now of like here's your gilded cage that you like a lot with Jafar. And then here's Meg with your freedom. And so we're putting these two things together, like against each other in the same area.
But what is freedom?
Okay. So, and Meg outlines the deal of like, we'll get you out of the city and we'll get you enough money to get started in life and we'll get you some contacts. So like it is setting her up is what they tell her.
Setting her up.
Yep. So the next day she gets up and she immediately calls Meg and takes the deal because she's finally put her foot down of like, as much as I like really care about this man and what's going on here, I need to be free. I can't be under his rule anymore. Mm-hmm. And so she takes the deal. Meg gets her, and I should say the elevator in this building is locked. So like there's only 2 floors that she can access. And so she gets into the elevator and somebody, Meg, whoever, had hacked the elevator so that the parking garage floor is accessible to her. So she goes down the parking garage, gets in the car, and Hades is there, obviously. They drive about 10 minutes and they're having this conversation about you can't go back on deals and all this other stuff. And then, of course, Yasmina picks up that, like, fuck, they can't go back on deals, which means they made a deal. 10 minutes goes by, they stop the car, and they stop it directly in front of Ali in another parking garage. And Ali had made a deal for her. Hey, and she, of course, immediately looks at Hades like, I need to make a deal with you right now. And he's like, the deal's already been done. It's too bad. I'm so sorry. He doesn't say that. But let's be fair. So Hades would never apologize. So Ali chucks her in the back of the car, in the trunk, and takes her back to her father's mansion, where we all started. And he dumps her in her old room and says that he'll be back later.
Bye, bitch.
Bye, bitch. So Yasmina hits like rage level, where you get that kind of, it's like the killing rage where everything becomes very fucking crystal clear what has to go on.
Yeah.
She plans to save herself, of course, because she's like, well, we're fucked now. Like, let's get this shit show on the go.
Well,
so her plan is to like somehow take out Ali and to claim her father's seat of power for herself. And Jafar, of course, like, he's freaking out because he has surveillance on her and like she disappeared. And she's like, oh, well, we'll track her. And they track her to that second like hotel location where Ali put her in the car and disappeared. And then obviously he's pissed off and he knows that Hades is involved in this. So he storms into the underworld. And Meg immediately cuts him off before he even gets to see Hades and drops like a bunch of truth bombs about how Yasmina is a liability because like Jafar cares about her so much. And she's like, this is going to destroy you if you keep going down this road. And like we did, more or less, like we did you a favor by removing this element. Mm-hmm. And of course, like Ali already made a deal. So, like, you're wasting your time here. We can't go back on deals. You know how this works. And so as Jafar is leaving, because he's, like, again, he doesn't want to, like, rock a boat or, like, bring war down to the underworld or any of that stuff, because it just doesn't go well. And not to mention, Yasmina doesn't have that much time. He needs to figure this out now.
Yeah.
Jafar is leaving, and as he's leaving, he runs into Tink. Or, sorry, Tink runs into him. She hands him off a note and just says, get our girl back. The note is a handwritten note from Hades specifically saying where Yasmina is, and it just says like the address, and then it says balancing the scales.
Oh, I get you.
This is the way that Hades apologizes for something having gone down in his underworld.
In his underworld.
In his underworld.
In his underwear.
That's what I call it. Welcome to my underworld. So
oh God. This is my cave of wonders.
So Jesus. Welcome to my cave of wonders. So Yasmina is dragged to dinner with Ali, and he has dressed her in a white wedding dress.
Oh, gross.
Because he plans to marry her this evening because she was promised to him, and she has been bought and paid for already.
She's mine.
And literally, it's just like, no, you're mine. You're bought and paid for.
I saw her first.
Just because your father's not alive to relish in his reward doesn't mean you don't belong to me. And Yasmina, of course, has much other plans for this guy. And, you know, she like kind of settles her way up and gets close to him as like leaning in for the kiss sort of thing, pulls a letter opener from her sleeve and stabs him in the throat and kills him.
Fuck yes.
Hell yeah, brother. So satisfying.
Brother.
So,
brother.
Obviously, so she's now in this wedding dress that's covered in blood, his blood. And she turns around and looks because there's two guards in the room. Yeah. And one of them starts to make a beeline for her. And the other guard shoots him in the back.
Fuck yeah, he does.
So, and his name is Henry. So Henry, who used to be head of security for her father.
Good job, Henry.
Makes it very clear that like not everyone will follow you, but those of us who actually are loyal will follow you. And she's like, gather the troops. Let's do it.
Gather the troops. We ride it down.
And she does give everyone, her father's men, basically an option to be like, you can either kneel to me or you can leave. And this is your only opportunity to do so. Insubordination won't be tolerated.
Yeah.
And so I think there's like one dude that leaves or something. And there's a tie-in back to the original of the story. But anyway, Jafar, of course, now that he has this information, rolls up to save Yasmina, ready to go to fucking war with Ali if he has to. And we get this, and I love this. The heroine has already saved herself. And so Jafar rolls up and he's like, I came to save you. And she's like, I already fucking saved myself, bitch. Yeah. And of course.
Welcome to my underworld.
So she gives Jafar the option to kneel or be exiled. Of course. We get this reflection in his brain of like, his plan was always to have Yasmina as his queen. And this was not the avenue that he took, but it's still the destination that he required. And so this is still part of his plan of like, he wanted to have her with him at the top. And so it's just a different level of dynamic right now. And so this is perfectly fine with him.
He's like, oh, she chose me.
Well, and her exact phrase is, just because I love you doesn't mean I'll sit at your feet again. At least outside of the bedroom. And his response to that, of course, is, you love me? Which is adorable. And then obviously they go upstairs and do stuff. They do naughty things, and happy ending, the end.
And happy ending, the end.
Well, someone got a happy ending. So the bonus material is very interesting. One of the bonus materials is called Meg's Apology. And Meg shows up to the office one day as Yasmin is working and delivers her one of those, those chain slip collars that have you put one side of the chain through the other side of the chain and it has like a ruby. Yeah. So I think it's a gift from Jafar, basically. But it's also an apology. And Meg specifically very frankly apologizes to Yasmina for betraying her, basically. And you do get this very, Meg really likes Yasmina, if not obviously to play with, but also as a friend and a person. And she doesn't want to burn that bridge. And so she does sincerely apologize. And of course, in typical Jafar fashion, he's like, I think you can apologize better than that. And basically makes Meg just eat Yasmina out at her desk. It's very funny. So then that's one. So the other one is the winter solstice. And it's just like a party event or something. There's some more, if you sexy Reynolds actually chase you, because of course on the compound, Yasmina has this crazy hedge maze out back on the property. Cause it's 15 acres of property. It's huge. She has, anyway, they have some sexy times running through the maze. And the terms, of course, of that race are, if Jafar wins and catches her, she has to take a week off vacation because she's been working so hard. And if she wins, Jafar has to fuck Alaric, who is one of his one of his minions.
One of his minions.
Well, he's like, baby girl, if you wanted me to fuck Alaric, you could have just asked. It's very interesting.
Baby girl.
Also, baby girl. And also, I need to note too, because Katee Robert, she has one of the footnotes on this one. It's a big ballroom situation. They have everything this party and stuff. And Yasmin is sitting at the head of the table, metaphorically. And Katee Roberts' comment at the bottom was, I like what I like, and it's sexy people on sexy thrones.
This all has very Neon Gods feels to it.
Oh, well, I mean, it's vice versa, because this was written before Neon Gods. But yes, you're right. It's very...
Either way,
it's
yes.
very, very similar. Yeah, for sure. Because Katee Robert likes what she likes. So, same. The last one is called The Proposal. This is where we actually get some interesting insecurity here, because Yasmina is, head of the territory. She's unwed. People know that her and Jafar are together, but they don't and especially people outside the city don't really care. It's not, they're like, okay, and you're not married though, so it doesn't matter. So there's a bunch of proposals coming in from pick one of my 6 sons and we'll share territory and blah blah blah, and mutual beneficial stuff. And it's really weighing on Jafar, because he's like, yeah, everyone here in this city knows who you belong to, or vice versa. But people outside of the city don't know that, and so they don't really take into consideration. They have a moment of kind of not domestic bliss, but after a long day unwinding, whatever, they're in the tub together, and some sexy times ensues. Mm-hmm. And he tells her about these insecurities that he's feeling and stuff like this. And after she's done railing him, because of course she proposes to him and asks him to marry her. Nice little twist. So the last bit of the book, the last bit of bonus content is this kink questionnaire. And a kink questionnaire in this instance is basically if you go to a sex club or a play group, or you just want to explore it with your partner, which I highly recommend you do, you just fill out this questionnaire. I think this one is from 1 to 6 of things you like giving or receiving. So the content in this one, Yasmina has filled one out, quote unquote, and so has Jafar. Well, I didn't read Jafar's completely, and I was like, wait a second, it has what your safe word and your triggers are in here. I'm very fascinated. So Yasmina's safe word is Raja, as you mentioned, and her triggers are being locked away, mm-hmm. which is interesting. Jafar's kink questionnaire, his safe word is desert, mm-hmm. and his triggers are lamps.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Anyway, so it's just like a fun little like insight to who they are as people. It's super cute and like such a nice little thing for Katee Robert to include there. So that was lovely. That's all the content for the book, and it's quite fun little read. So speaking of a fun little read, I'm gonna read you something.
Sounds like a plan.
This is when Meg comes over to play.
Mm-hmm. Red Rover, can Meg come over?
So we're already a little bit into this where they've been like fooling around and stuff. So we're kind of getting into the meat of it, as it were.
The meat.
So I'm going to start partway through that. Jafar delivers one last slap to my ass and then palms me. Drenched. Of course she is. She loves this. Meg tugs my hair. Don't you? Yes, I whisper. Look at that, Jafar. Honesty for the first time tonight. Another tug on my hair has me writhing my hips, instinctively trying to ride Jafar's hand even as he removes it. Meg smiles. Tell us what you want. Be honest. However, this feels like the most daring thing I've done tonight. I force myself to meet her gaze, force the truth from my lips. I want to ride Jafar's cock while you lick my clit and his cock. If anything, her grin widens. He's right. You are a dirty little slut. She looks at him. Shall we give your girl what she wants? I nearly topple over as I turn around to face him. As I suspected, he's naked. His body an invitation I can't ignore, even if I want to.
Wait. He was clothed and then she turned around and he's just naked?
No, there's a big time gap in between this, so don't worry about it.
Okay, I was like...
Don't worry too hard about it.
And then he was naked.
He pulls me up and takes my mouth. And knowing that he can taste Meg's orgasm on my tongue has me running my hands up his chest and looping them around his neck, pressing my body against him and rolling my hips in invitation. When he finally lifts his head, his dark eyes are so hot, they sear me right to my soul. If she asks nicely. Please, Daddy. I kiss his jaw, his neck, his chest, working my way down to his cock. Please, please, please. I suck him deep, loving the sharp inhale the same way I loved Meg's moans. More. He laces his fingers through my hair, but for once he doesn't take control. He merely lets me suck him down as I beg without words. I'd say she wants it, he rumbles. I feel Meg shift on the floor behind me before she slides her hands between my legs. God, she really is drenched, isn't she? She explores me with her fingers in an absent sort of way, not trying to get me off, just seeming to enjoy touching me. Next time I'm going to bring a few of the guys. Aside from his voice dropping an octave, I wouldn't know that he's even remotely affected by my mouth around his cock. The fact that they're talking about me as if she's not fingering me, as if I'm not sucking him off. I shiver and tilt my hips a little at invitation. Meg laughs and pushes 2 fingers into me. I saw you talking with Hook while you fingered her. He could barely take his eyes off her, and he couldn't even see how wet she was. He'd give his right arm to be able to fuck her pussy while she sucks your cock. Or maybe her pussy while you fuck her ass. She presses a thumb into my ass, the sensation making me moan around Jafar's cock. Meg gives a happy sigh. I would very much like to watch it when it happens. That can be arranged. He uses his grip on my hair to guide me off his cock. Would you like that, baby girl? The thought of 2 cocks filling me, of being caged by 2 bodies, of being helpless and spread wide open. No question about it. Yes, Daddy. Thought so. He stands and moves back to sit in the chair across from us. Come on, then. I scramble to my feet and nearly tip over when my knees try to give out. Jafar catches my hand and pulls me roughly into his lap. He turns me to face Meg, where she still kneels on the floor, and uses his legs to spread mine obscenely wide. I like seeing her lipstick all over your cunt, baby girl. Me too, I whisper. Shall we let her get it all over my cock too? Yes, Daddy. Come here, Meg. I expect her to stand, but she crawls. There's absolutely nothing subservient in the motion. She's lost her shirt somewhere along the way, and Meg puts on a show as she moves slowly towards us. I don't draw a full breath until she's kneeling between our thighs, and then I forget to breathe entirely. She wraps her hand around Jafar's cock, but it's my gaze she meets as she sucks him deep. 1 stroke, 2. Jafar lifts me, and Meg moves his cock to my entrance. He slams me down on him, and I can't keep a cry inside. I wiggle, trying to adjust to his cock stretching me, but neither of them gives me time. His hand on my hips press me down, sealing us completely, and then Meg's mouth is on my clit. All of the finesse is gone. She does something with her tongue that has my vision hazing out. I scream as I come, riding out the long ways of orgasm that never seem to end. Meg, enough. At first, I think Jafar's warning is about what she's doing to me, but I look down and I realize she's cupping his balls. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that he's hanging on by a thread. Meg knows too, because she doesn't stop. Not what she's doing to me and not what she's doing to him. Fucking enough. He spills us onto the ground, shoving Meg onto her back and dragging me down her body to push my face against her pussy. Thank her for that orgasm, baby girl. He pounds into me as I fuck her with my tongue. I can already feel another orgasm building, but I want her to come again before that happens. I want to feel her unravel and know that I'm the cause. Then her hands are in my hair and she's guiding me back to her clit. I work it just like I did last time, taking her cues to drive her higher. Getting distracted, aren't you? Jafar thrusts deep and slaps my ass. I cry out, desperately licking Meg until she's coming, sucking and licking until she drags me up her body to claim a kiss. Jafar follows until we're straddling her hips. That's when he begins fucking me in earnest, his strokes going deeper, rougher, being pinned between their bodies, the slick slide of their skin against mine. Perfection. I cannot put into words how good it is. Meg keeps kissing me and then snakes a hand between us to finger my clit. I try to hold out, to make this delirious pleasure last forever, but it's too good. I come, sobbing against her lips. My orgasm tips Jafar over the edge, his strokes going frenzied until he drives deep and curses. Time moves a little fuzzily after that. Jafar manages to get us both back on the couch, wrapped up in a blanket, and that he pulled out from somewhere. Meg lounges like a jungle cat, all smug satisfaction as she watches me in Jafar's arms. She's a keeper. I'm aware. She gives one last full body stretching and climbs to her feet. We should do this again sometime. She pulls on her pants and blouse and slips back into her heels. Meg pauses to press a soft kiss to my forehead. See you around, Yasmina. Bam! Love a Katee Robert sex scene. We've come to the rating portion of this game. What should we rate this on?
Rajas?
Rajas? No, that's not
Lamps?
necessary. Lamps?
Baby girls?
No, okay, we'll do lamps. That's fine.
Ducks?
Ducks? No, Ashton. No, please no. Okay, we're going to rate on lamps. We're going to rate it on 5 lamps.
I love the number 5.
It's your favorite number, at least for rating, so I like to help out sometimes.
I appreciate that.
Would you like to go first?
I always find it so difficult to rate a book that I haven't read.
I mean, here's the thing. It is a Katee Robert book. I think you probably have much greater insight to how this book reads than any other book that you've not read.
Oh,
because you've read a lot of Katee Robert.
Fair. I will read this book, so there's that. I think my only thing is like what irritated me the most was like, I don't want to say the predictability, but like, and I know that this came second, but to me, or came first, but this is second. It's the like, been there, done that of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So like, I don't know, 3.5, 4, like around there. Like it's solid. Like, and I know her writing is going to be decent because I know Katee Robert and what what they perform at. So I think my only is the like, this feels done.
Yeah. It's familiar.
It very much so. And that feels unfair because like I haven't read Neon Gods in a very long time, but like even like even down to like I killed the guy, all of the things. I appreciate that she murdered somebody. That was super fun. So maybe 4.
That's reasonable. I think it's very reasonable. It's very funny because I feel like I go into a Katee Robert book with such a bias now because I really enjoy Katie's writing. And I always know I'm going to have a good time. I don't know. I feel like Katee writes to my brain, and I appreciate that a lot. So, yeah, I don't know. I find it, so objectively, I find it difficult to rate this. I will say that, like, Goodreads, and most people, I think, rate Katee Roberts' books because they're very much reviewed quite frequently. They generally rate them at, like, a 3.5 to 4 is where they sit on Goodreads, for example. And that's, like, fairly average across the board because people have opinions, of course. And I think especially if you're a larger romance author, and you pick certain topics, people are going to have more opinions about them than others. I will say that I found the beginning of this book a little confusing because we're kind of jumping into
an already established
relationship that the reader doesn't know about. So you have that kind of unreliable situation going on where it's like, I don't quite know how I'm supposed to feel about some of these things yet. And that's almost like a taboo situation where I'm like, how am I supposed to feel about this guy chasing her down and fucking her on the floor in her dad's house? Like, what's going on right now? So, but also that's like kind of the intrigue of like the taboo of the kind of like the feral thing that's going on here. So I don't hate that, but I was also like kind of confused about like, I feel like I walked it halfway through a book.
Yeah, you're just dropped in the middle of it.
Yeah, missing some context. And so that was a little bit weird. The second time I read it, obviously, like, things were different. But the very first time I read it, I was like, this is slightly confusing. And admittedly, it was, like I said, is Katie's, like, first foray into, like, the spicy romance kind of thing. So do with that information what you will. But, yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to give it, like, probably a 4.5. Because, I mean, this book was written for me. Let's be fair. Like,
yes.
Yeah, and like the daddy dom thing does it for me, and like the flip flop of Yasmina at the end where she's like, "I'm gonna save myself, motherfucker," and then kills a dude. I'm so fucking into that. That's like, I want all my books to end that way. Like, I love that. I love that trope so much of the heroine saving herself. Like, it's just it's chef's kiss. So good. And honestly, like, I didn't see that coming. I should have expected it, I think, but like, it was definitely like not how I thought the book was going to end. So, and I really, having read a lot of the Dark Olympus series, I should have known better, because that's definitely a thing that happens a couple times in that series too. So I'm like, I really enjoy that. And just like so satisfying. Like, yeah, kill that bitch and you're fucking covered in blood in your wedding dress. This is rad as shit. So into this. That's the kind of media I like to absorb. Yeah, so I'm going to say a 4.5. Not perfect, obviously. Like, I don't know. Katee Robert books, I know what I'm getting into. I know what I'm going to receive. It's very good, but it's not like top tier stellar bullshit. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'll say about it. I'll definitely read the rest of this series though. I'm quite looking forward to it, because unlike the Dark Olympus series, I think it's finished. So you can actually like read the whole thing, as opposed to Dark Olympus, which is gonna, I think there's probably 4 or 5 more books in that series or something that aren't out
I have
yet.
no idea. Well, even like, okay, so even to that point, Tank's character was fucking, what's her head? Hermes was like identical to Hermes.
Similar, very similar. There's a lot more shit going on with Tink that Tink can't control, which I kind of skimmed over because like the book's not about Tink, but Tink definitely, there's like a darkness to it that I don't think like you can kind of pick up a little bit reading it, where you're like, oh, some fucking shit is surrounding you. And you are this way for a very
just like
good
Hermes.
Yeah, but like Hermes has this level of freedom that Tink does not have. Like, Tink is under someone's thumb. And so it's like a pushback situation. And Hermes is like taking the fuck over whatever they're doing. They're taking over something. So there's definitely like a much higher power grab when it comes to Hermes than Tink. Because Tink is like, yeah, Tink is suppressed, I think. So it's
okay, keep in mind, I didn't read the book. And to me, it was like same shit, different pile. Like flavors of the same thing, you know? just like I know Jafar's not Hades, but then Hades was Hades and Hades was Hades. And it's like, okay.
Okay, well, thanks for hanging out and reading Desperate Measures, or listening to Desperate Measures. The next time we are back, you are bringing us a book for Halloween, because we're getting into the Halloween, my favorite season ever.
Spooky season.
Slightly past my birthday too, which I don't know if you do this, but I'm spending my birthday at medieval times, drinking ale and watching dudes joust, and I'm pretty excited for that. 40 is going to be a good year. And so you are bringing us, it's called Hunt Me by Faye Quinn.
I crave the chase.
You crave the chase. Yeah, so it's about a werewolf, right?
Werewolf docking. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, fuck yes. Okay. I'm signing off right now so we could get to that, because holy shit. I'm so excited. Okay. Well, thank you. That's like a treat. Thank you, Ashton.
You're welcome.
I'm so looking forward to that. So next time we're back, that's Hunt Me by Faye Quinn. And yeah, go thanks for joining me, Ash.
You're welcome.
I look so forward to seeing you again now. Oh my goodness. I was happy before, but now I'm like, fuck yes, let's go. Okay, well, we'll see you guys next time. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Queens of Spice podcast. You'll find us on Instagram at Queens of Spice, Or you can send us an email at queensofspice@gmail.com.